Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to make your first million? And today we have Alex, who is the founder of Together Future, Save the High Street. So Alex, tell us, what are the 5 steps that a small business owner can achieve to make the first million?
Harry, thank you for having me. It's good to see you again. I think where I'd start, if we're talking about key steps towards getting a product market fit journey and then taking it to scale, is to actually focus initially on yourself and focus on what are the things that you are most passionate about and where do you see the biggest problems in your life that you would be willing to spend years of your life solving. I think the mistake that a lot of people often make is they look and they say, oh, there's some gap in the market over here. And even if that is true and the timing is right, are you the right team to address that gap at this moment? Because you need all 3 of those things to come together
and are you
to
passionate
succeed
about
at
it?
scale.
Yeah,
exactly. Are you willing to go through what it takes? I watched a very interesting interview with Jensen Huang, who's the founder of NVIDIA, recently the largest company in the world, who said if he had the chance to start NVIDIA again, he's not even sure he would because it was so hard. And so you have to actually focus on something that even through the difficult times, and every business, big and small, goes through them, that you are driven beyond just this desire to make money to solve a problem in the world. So that's the first thing. Really look inside yourself and say, am I willing to commit to this? And am I potentially the right person to lead a business to achieve that?
Brilliant. What would be the step 2 then, Alex?
So I think with the step 2 is, if you've got this space that you really want to focus on, immerse yourself in that industry. Take it to another level. So whatever it is you're trying to do, and as you know, Harry, in my space here, this is all about the high street. We launched Save the High Street. I have a team of people that live and breathe high street success, from champions to businesses to people who have built innovative technologies to try and change high streets for the better. Everyone who I've brought in has already been immersing themselves in this industry. And one of the key strengths I wanted to build with this organization was that domain experience and obsession about this industry. So if you yourself, when you're starting a business, can find that thing initially that you're passionate about, can you then immerse yourself into whatever that industry is and become a part of the fabric of that community? Can you really geek out, become a busybody for your industry, make it your business to become more and more obsessed, read about it in your spare time, go to the networking events, meet the other obsessives in that industry, and go deeper and deeper until you become one of those true industry leaders.
That's fantastic. So, and then Alex, after we do, after we find, that we are the right person, we have the purpose that I like what you said, about, it's not about finding the gap in the market and go for it. It's not going to cut it. You have to be a person that your purpose in life, if that you're going to dedicate your life to fill that gap in the market. Otherwise, you're going to do it for the money. And by now we know that this doesn't work. So, so after you find that you are the person with a purpose, yes? And after you go to the second step, so what is the next step number 3 that entrepreneurs have to do?
So I think the next key thing that I would talk to here is around actually looking to construct an offer that's so good people feel stupid saying no to it, and test that in market even before you've invested significant capital to go and build and offer it. That you don't necessarily need to be able to fulfill on things to get the signals that actually you have something that people really want. So there's a lot of great literature out there from the lean startup and, a range of things that talk to how to build technology businesses in a much more customer-centric way. But I think this translates everywhere. How can you go out there, whether you want to start a salon or a retail business or a cafe or any business on the high street or really any kind of business, and go, can we actually get out there, speak to some people who may be our customers, and test out exciting pitches, elevator pitches about the business, and refine it and get people to give you that feedback before you go out there and start really investing heavily in building the offering to fulfill it, let alone marketing it on any scale. So there's a piece I think often entrepreneurs miss at the early stage, that they can very light touch, very low capital intensive, to actually go and test and design and build the offering before you actually put a lot of money and time behind it.
Yeah. And then what would be the next step, number 4?
So one thing that we've been able to achieve here in where we're at here is saying, look, we are a passionate team and of entrepreneurs who want to go and build something with purpose. We want to change high streets for the better, and we want to transform the economics and experience of what it means to start small businesses. Now, we have that passion around that, but one thing that we've focused around is how to translate that into how do we make it everybody's interest? How do we give this to the world in a way where they can spread the word for us? How do we give this to a world where our success means their success? And so I believe in 2024, we're moving into an era where a large proportion of the real big success stories of the future will be purpose-driven businesses. And if you're a business of purpose, there are frameworks that if people want to get in touch with me afterwards, I'm happy to share around launching industry movements. As a small business, this is not as crazy as it sounds. Using movement dynamics to mobilize support from people with shared interests so that you can actually feel like, even as a small business, you have this big extended
Community.
team all on this shared mission. Lay out your vision of what the future looks like and how we can achieve it together. Draft the manifesto, engage those champions, and understand how they can work towards achieving their goals while achieving your goals as well.
100%.
So it sounds like a big deal, but I would say the fourth thing is really explore, what does it mean to start a movement around my dream?
Wow, that's amazing. And the final one?
Wow, look, there's a lot of competition for the final one to get there, of course. But one of the things that I would say here is actually something somebody once said to me that stuck, which is about decision making. And in small businesses, it's very easy to spend too long or not enough time on decisions. And a very useful framework that I use is to actually understand when there are decisions that you can go back on, to be decisive, not to spend a load of time prevaricating, not you and your partners to spend weeks deciding on something that actually, if it doesn't work out the way you expect it to, you can't go back and change course, But then understanding which of those decisions on your journey, if you make that decision, you've really closed the door and it's going to be difficult to go back on, and doing the really fundamental analysis on those decisions. Often with businesses that we support, and at Save the High Street, we're helping thousands of businesses around the UK to build from startup to scale up in high street settings, from digital first brands launching their first shop on the high street through to, retailers and restaurants and cafes and salons scaling their business up into high street settings. And invariably, every single stage of the journey, I see a commonality, which is, businesses just need to do more. Often they're spending too much time thinking about doing things, planning to do things, and not getting stuff done. And actually, action is what counts. As Nike once said, just do it.
Yeah, but Alex, I think we support here from Speakers at least 100% your work, because I think that the high street business and the uniqueness of the business, it has a beauty itself. The other day I went to see the movie Apprentice. This is a movie about Donald Trump, yeah. So I went there to the cinema, but I went to the cinema of Stepney Green. And this is a local cinema, right? This is no a View cinema. This is no a brand cinema. And in his own, this cinema has what we call a personality. You see, you see that it hasn't been taken for a big change or a big corporation. Yeah, I don't know if it's managed by the council or by the community, but you're going to a place, to a cinema, but is you feel there like at home, right? You don't feel, you don't go to these like huge corporate cinemas where everything is so clean, and you need to order your popcorn here and everything is there. Over there, you order a mashed potato, you can eat it in the. So that beauty that the small business, right, and the high street business, this what we call it, entrepreneur that open the business, and maybe to go from 0 to 1, and this a lifestyle business to provide for his family, but also bring that uniqueness, these colorful things that the small business bring to the table, that we cannot allow this to disappear here in UK, because it will lose the character of the city. Yeah, and sadly, sometimes I travel a lot. You go to other countries, and I don't think you go to countries out there, and everything is changed, dominated. You don't see, there is not even a space for a small business. You need to be a high, big time corporation to have a restaurant. It's chain after change after change after change. So what else can we do, Alex, more to empower these more entrepreneurs to open their own restaurant, to open their own clothes shop, to open their own? It's also social responsibility as well. We have a responsibility with the society to give equal opportunity to everyone, and everyone is free to offer the product and the services in the competitive way. And sometimes it's tough when you open a retail shop to sell clothes, and then next to you you have H&M, or you have Primark, or you have this massive giant next to you. It's a little bit threatening. So what are you doing, Alex, to empower the small high street retail to in this collective mission to do something, not even for themselves, something bigger than themselves, to do something for the city, for the country,
society and the
for the
economy.
society.
So firstly, I think it's a necessity. It's the gaps left by national chains shrinking or disappearing from high streets over new generation of entrepreneurs with access to the space, support, and funding they need to be successful. And so it's absolutely essential for the future of our town centres that entrepreneurship blossoms and flourishes in cities,
Diversity.
towns, villages, and shopping centres around the UK. So there's an essential here, and there's a wider context. The success and failure of high street impacts us all. And it's why we want to live in some places and not others. Vibrant, successful high streets is what, pushes up the value of residential property assets for good reason. And so, when we start to look at what is in the way of this future becoming a reality, our focus is centered on a couple of big things that I'll share with you, Harry, today and for your audience. So one of those is that building businesses, as you highlight on these podcasts all the time, is hard. Yeah. And it takes a lot to go and build end to end a fully functioning, well-performing, slick business. But actually, as you've just pointed out in your last comment, there's some magic in the entrepreneur of a local business that you don't seem to get from the big guys. The trade, we call it. So when you go to your local restaurant and it's an independent,
Feel like
often
at
you're
home,
wowed
right?
by the quality and the experience that they can
How
bring
they
to life
treat
there.
you.
You go into your local, boutique. There's a wonderful shop I go to in Marylebone in London, a boutique, and the curation and the care he puts into what he does from a fashion point of view. You go to your local beautician who's just like lives and breathes that trade about how to sort your hair out on another level in a fantastic way. There's something in the trade that's just magic. And that's why these businesses start their business. But actually, to be able to do everything from brand and marketing and finance and financing and operations and recruitment, there's just so many things that a big business has access to. Teams of people in each one of those functions with agencies supporting them to make it happen that small businesses don't have. So a big focus of ours has been, how do we radically change the economics and the experience of building businesses in the future? And so over the past few years, we have become really obsessed, let alone engaged, around how do we deploy artificial intelligence to the benefit of humanity in this part of our economy? How do we enable every small business to feel like they've got a whole team without needing so many humans?
So they can compete.
How do we build your AI marketing manager and your AI finance manager and your AI commercial agent?
So you
And
can
if
compete.
not remove, at least replace and compete, level the playing field to make sure everyone, and change the experience as well, Harry, not get stuck and lost in actually doing all the small jobs that as a small business owner that you didn't start this business for, be able to click a button and things just happen. So you can focus on what you love doing and what you're best at doing.
And
So a big part of it is how do we,
you can focus
how
in
do we
treating
transform the
your customers
economics?
in the face-to-face, like
100%. Your
It's the
product and your
experience.
customers. Your product and your customers and that experience. If you can focus on that, and all of the back office can be dealt with for you, just like a big businesses would, but without having to spend the money like a big business would. So that's
And
one part of this.
and also, Alex, if you don't happy with the service, this big corporation, you don't happy with the service. Okay, you have to fill this form, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do that. Well, when you're in a small business, even you're not happy with the service, even the manager will come and say, okay, hello, what happened? Okay, no problem. So what is it? No, the meal was cold. Okay, we change the meal. That's okay. Try to come back again. This personal touch that we as clients appreciate, right? And we want to, nothing wrong about against corporation, nothing wrong about the big restaurant change, right? Nothing wrong with that. But as a consumer, we should have the freedom to have this local restaurant, to have this local cinema, to have these local places. That's a consumer. We go there and we feel that we treat it like family, that we are at home, that we are not in a place that that is running for a big corporation, and also as a consumer as well. Who do you want to support, right? If you want to watch a movie, like for example, I go to that cinema in Stepney Green. Obviously, if you go to view another cinemas, okay, it's amazing. They're all clean, and they're also expensive and everything. But you, as a consumer, you have a voice. Where do you want to watch a movie? Do you want to watch a movie in a local cinema that that your money goes to pay the salary of the people there and for the local community or for whatever? Or do you want to take your money and go and spend it in big corporation, which is nothing wrong with it, and a lot of people can do and support that. They also provide the service for everybody who want to watch a movie. But the consumer, we have to have options, right? And that's options. If we don't empower the high street, the small business, as a consumer, we are also losing options, and then we're not going to have more choice to go and eat in a restaurant that is a franchise, that everything is systemized, that the person that's going to serve you, he has a script behind that that had to tell you exactly what it says in this paper, and know what he really thinks, right? And this is the thing with this big company, big corporation. We lost this touch. Consumer, we should empower. That's why we do support and love the job you do. Keep doing it, because it meant a lot for the society. And also, we're talking about social responsibility as well. Okay.
Look,
A
I
lot of
agree
people
entirely.
think that it's about social responsibility, about just don't collect. People just put the plastic thing on the plastic container, and they think that they are okay and they're doing amazing for the planet and for the society. Well, social responsibility goes a little bit more than that. It goes to that. It goes to empower small business owners. So they can have a fair shot. And have the business and idea, the local food, the local clothes, the local has a fair shot against the big high street giants, right? And it's also provide more option for the consumer as well. So the consumer have the freedom to go to whatever place they want to go and support. So, Alex, but at the same time, like I said, if you're thinking to to open a clothes shop, right? or a restaurant, and next to you you have Nando's or you have Primark or you have these big giants with so much budget and everything, it's a little bit threatening. Yeah, you people will think twice in order to give it a go. So, what message do you have for those entrepreneurs that they really want to do something, that really have in the something that they're passionate about? Could be the local food, could be the local dessert, could be the type of tea, could be a special type of fabric or cloth that
Yeah.
they want to put in society. But at the end of the day, they are threatened because this, and they feel lonely. They feel lonely, and they don't have community, they don't have group, and they say, wow, am I gonna go alone against these giants? These people are gonna crush me. So what advice do you
Well,
have for them?
firstly, they're not. Yeah, so like, they're not alone anymore. This is our big mission. We want to make sure that every single small business has the support they need to achieve their potential, whatever that might be. And the potential varies, but we want to make it much easier. We want to remove the friction to getting started as well. So a big challenge from like a conventional high street point of view versus the new way of building, I don't know, a retail business, for example, is that you can start a e-commerce business, in a day, and then you can
Yes.
close it down the next day. This is the kind of concept that you need to make the commitment for 5 years from the moment you sign that lease with the landlord. It's very hard for a lot of this next generation entrepreneurs that could be successful on high street to get their head around. So one thing we've been looking at here is saying, well, there's a lot of empty space. There's empty space in shops and shopping centers. There's empty department stores, Harry. Whole department
Yes.
stores that used to be the anchors of high streets are lying empty. Why don't we unlock value from this vacant space? Why don't we take over these empty spaces and use them as what we call pop-up incubators? So what we're doing is we're running competitions that businesses in a local area can apply to win a period of rent-free, completely free space and support on our support platform to launch your brand, validate your concept, test it out. If you are a
Really?
business that we can see that with the right support around you, you could fit the needs of this local catchment area, complement the other offerings, and with the right support, you as an entrepreneur and as a vision, as a concept, we could turn into a great business, ideally even a scale up, ideally a next generation chain for high streets. But even if you're just someone who could work there, we're launching these competitions all over the place. So Southend has just completed as of this last week. We've got 7 winners, 250 businesses
Wow.
applied in a great shopping centre called the Victoria Centre. Edgware has just launched in a Ballymore scheme, which is a shopping centre up in Edgware Town Centre called the Broadwalk. We're launching a town centre wide version of this out in Devon. We're exploring with landlord partners around the UK at the moment how to start to activate these pop-up incubators in different shopping centres, because for them it's great. They get to fill their empty space with great businesses on the platform, so they've got a better chance of succeeding. But they also make the overall shopping centre more attractive. They get loads of publicity, lots of good ESG value. They're giving back to the community. But ultimately, they're sitting there with an empty unit that's costing them money. And we're saying, well, actually, even if you don't get rent for the first few months, you can get rent after that they convert
Exactly, because
onto a longer
the
license
winner
or
can
lease.
set up the business there, right?
Everyone can win from this. So, this concept of having, when you see these empty shops, for us is madness. These shops should be opportunities for people to try out their new business very quickly. So if we can make it very simple for people to get access to the space, we give them the support they need to achieve their potential and even understand their potential. We're using tools now to really model out from what you're doing at the moment. What could you be? What do your scenarios look like? So you can make educated decisions as a business owner about making longer term commitments in this shopping center, in this high street, in a different high street potentially than you've even tried it out in. So really this is about reducing friction to giving people a chance. We're looking at how to help people focus on their strengths, focus on the things that make you different and better, and ensure that everything else can be done for you quicker, cheaper, better, easier than ever before. And the last 6 months, we've been really focusing on building out the technology to enable this to happen. So, Harry, I'll be sharing more with you about this, but a
Brilliant.
future of what we call self-driving businesses, a world where small business owners focus on what they love and everything else gets done for you, is coming. We're in a new era now where AI can be put to work to enable the small business of the future to build better businesses and build better businesses with a smile on their face, make it a more enjoyable experience than it's ever been before. And so we believe this is a mission that's worth us spending our lives on. And, wrapping this into what the bigger thesis for Save the High Street and changing high streets for the better, for us, a big part of this is how do we empower this next generation to come through? And how do we make sure when they do come through, they don't just start and fail at the rates that people expected people to do it in the past, that we reduce that failure rate right down and give people a chance to actually build businesses in a more flexible and successful way.
Alex, so if people are in love with our conversation and they want to apply for your incubators or be part of your community or learn more, how people can find you, how the process works?
Well, look, as starters, go to savethehighstreet.org. Savethehighstreet.org is the page for the movement. There's 12,000 businesses, even more supporters, partners in public and private sector. We're partners with dozens of councils and now landlords and developers and agents. Really, anybody who's got an interest in seeing high streets change for the better, you can go and join the movement. You'll then find out more about different ways that you can get involved in things. There's new opportunities seem to be coming through almost weekly at the moment in terms of things like incubators, new levels of support for the small businesses. For small businesses, we're looking to set up trader groups on a lot of high streets at the moment. Get the community working better is another big one that's rolling out at the moment. But if you go to savethehighstreet.org, or you can find me on LinkedIn, it's Alex Schlagman. Come and knock on me virtually, and I'll send you a bit more information that might be more tailored to you at this moment in time. But the more of us that join, the stronger we all become on this journey. And we are here to help. If you're on that same mission, if you're trying to build something good in this market, we want to see whether we can be helpful for you. We're effectively like an enabling platform for the industry, is what we're trying to be here. And increasingly, we're trying to use the fact that we've been obsessing about this market, and built what we've built, the capabilities we've built, to make everyone else's life easier, to build better businesses that change high streets for the better themselves.
And then, Alex, you see so everyone that have a retail business idea, yeah, or you have a product, right? And the other things, Alex, is those entrepreneurs that they're selling online and they're doing well. Well, it's time for you to have a positioning, to have a real presence in the high street as well. And but the more that we really applaud you for the work you're doing for creating frameworks and solution for a small business, because at the end of the day, the small business had to catch up with technology because they had to be competitive. Yes, especially when they are starting, they have to pay rent, they need budget for marketing. If they start to hide everybody they need to do all the job at this early stage, there is not going to succeed. That's why AI and productivity tools are playing a main role to make them competitive, so they can actually operate, because otherwise it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Remember, we're competing with big giants next to us, and the business owner had to do what it takes, to do what technology offer in order to start the retail business, whatever he's passionate about, but use the productivity tools that they are at the moment in order to stay competitive, to stay and to attract clients, so that the business can succeed. But also, it's our mission, as society, as social responsibility, to develop and empower entrepreneurs, because without them, they are who create the jobs. We're not talking about the jobs we're talking about even the job in the local community. Even, you have 100%. A small business, you have a small business, you have a small restaurant in your community, but you know what? You are the people that collect the rubbish have a job. The people that supply the electricity, well, the companies, but the people that supplies that local market that bring you the food for you to sell it in, or that local farmer that bring you the food for you to sell it in your local restaurant. So now you have the microeconomy, right? So people can provide a living for themselves, doing what they love, and make a good living, but also improve society, right? And improve the quality of living. So it's our mission, from the top, from the government, yeah, to support this type of initiative. But also, Alex, it's very important people from you, like you, working on the ground, yeah, from the bottom up, yeah, empowering those entrepreneurs and creating community and growing that community, so more people get involved into the movement, because we do have to to do whatever it takes to don't lose the diversity and the uniqueness of the UK high street. It's sad what we see around the globe. Yeah, if you guys travel, you go to cities and it's not touched. It's all gone. It's all so there is nothing, not a small business at all. You only see franchises, trust franchises, trust malls and malls of big brands all around, and it's a little bit of empowering, losing the personal touch. And I don't think that we want this for United Kingdom. I don't think that that's the way. We don't want our local pubs, that we arrive there and you get treated like a family and everything. You don't want that to disappear, to put a big change of pub. We don't want, I don't know, like I said, the cinema, that the local cinema that is there. We don't want that this disappears, and a big change thing over. So we have to empower the communities and the people on the ground to stay strong, to stay together, to make community, to do events, so everybody can gather in what is the big vision, that we want. And the entrepreneurs, the small business owners, they need to know in the high street that they're not alone, that they have this amazing movement that you're creating. Correct? That's the most important thing.
Yeah, and I think look, you and I are clearly sort of very shared in our philosophy and our mission around the importance of entrepreneurship, and we're not alone. There's a lot of people out there that recognize this as the key driver for how we get ourselves out of challenges, and we all have a role to play. But that kind of grassroots entrepreneurship is such an important part of the local economy powerhouse, but that translates into the national economy as well. And it continuously gets me really excited, is that I don't think that's the problem. There is that undercurrent of local entrepreneurship, that desire to go and start things, to go and have an impact, to really express themselves with their own business. And I think it's becoming even more so in the world that we live in today. A lot of the jobs may be displaced in the future, as they talk about, the possibility of even a universal basic income coming in, because some of the jobs that your parents would have told you to go to university to study for, to get, may not exist for graduates in the future. But I think there will always be opportunities for people to express themselves and start things that can add value to the community as well as to commercial customers. So I think there's this
and then,
undercurrent
Alex,
of
if they cannot
entrepreneurship
find
that's
a job,
there.
they
But
can
the key
create
is,
their
how
own
do you
job.
harness it? Exactly, but then how do you harness that? So that desire is there. So those incubators we were talking about before, Harry. We've had hundreds of businesses applying for these in one local area, when people are given that opportunity. And interestingly, a lot of those businesses are already they're not complete startups. These are businesses who are online.
Wow.
You look at the biggest online retailers in the world, they invest heavily in high streets. One of the big misconceptions that it's high street versus the internet. One of the reasons we started this whole thing, so before we formed the business we're running now, Together Futures, we ran another business where we basically looked to kind of try and address the challenge of the high street versus the internet, and stop talking about it like that. And how do we use the internet and technology to empower the high street? How do we start thinking that actually it's an enabling force? And what we're seeing now, interestingly, is that actually those online retailers that were supposed to be the big disruptors of high streets are all going about their business in their strategies of setting up
100%.
pop-up shops and buying
100%.
Whole Foods and
The other
integrating deeply into the look
the
at
other
I mean,
day,
Asia, unbelievable, but
the,
even in the Western world.
the other day I was walking for Liverpool Street and you have Amazon hairdresser. That's amazing.
Yeah, there we go. Exactly. I mean,
Unbelievable.
Amazon is but you go beyond that, go level down from that. A lot of those really successful digital first brands have launched multiple stores. You know, you go in
Yeah,
terms of, in the US,
because
hundreds of stores at Casper and Bonobos, and the list goes on. You know, and
Alex, because
so
at the end of the day,
online
you
and
know what they
offline working
realized?
together is the holy grail for retail.
No, exactly. You know what they realized? They realized the power is not being 100% online or 100% retail. The power is to combine both, to
Both.
bring the
Yeah.
physical experience to the online. And these big companies, Amazon and so, they understand that very well. And they are expanding rapidly. The same thing that we're talking about, you know,
Yeah.
they're expanding like I said, hairdresser. And you might go, it's there in Liverpool Street. You can walk around, you can see.
Yeah.
I was shocked
Dozens
when
of
I saw
concept
that.
stores they've spun up,
That's
testing and
unbelievable.
learning.
You know, so we have
Yeah.
to empower, you know, this small enterprise, because that's the other thing, Alex, as well. People need to have the opportunity also. If they cannot find a job or they're not happy with the job, they can create their own job. You know, some
Yeah.
people, I don't know, they go to university, they're unhappy being the city corporate, but you know, they will be happy having their own barbershop and cutting their hair and in the local community.
Yeah.
And this is what made them happy. So people need to have the freedom and the support. If they don't like the job that they're doing and they want to create their own job, they have you know, organizations like you that have the framework ready and solution for them, so people can create their own job. Why people? We have a lot of unhappy people, a lot of people that they're not happy with the job that they do. Well, a good solution, a good starting point would be, you know, start a small business in your community that keep you fulfilled, that keep you happy, that create an income for you and for your family, right? And empower the community around and do activities around the community that you base. And you know that if that keep you happy, you have the ability to create your own job, right? And be unhappy in a job that you don't like. That's what this is another point that we have to take into consideration.
Yeah, I agree entirely. And look, there's opportunities all over the place, and it evolves. And with the new challenges, with change breeds opportunity. And you know, for us, this is a lot about the high street, but it's also about technology and how technology evolves. And we're at a certain point in the life cycle at the moment of, you know, where we are as an industry with regards to unlocking the potential of artificial intelligence. And one thing that I think entrepreneurs could get centered around that may be an interesting opportunity for people, you know, who have obsessions in whatever field that looks like, is that because a lot of the infrastructure has been built that was very capital intensive, NVIDIA laid down the chips. On top of that, a whole bunch of foundation models emerged and developer tools were built around it all. And as a result, there's an opportunity to build vertically focused niche, if you like, AI applications that don't need you to go and rebuild ChatGPT because it exists. But what you can do is you can effectively integrate into these technology platforms and build on top of them, but build experiences that people really want. Build a better product with your obsession and insight into that particular customer and get differentiated data. You don't need more data. You don't need the world's information because that has been picked up by the language models, the foundation models. What you need is unique data to be able to customize the foundation model work to make it more useful to your end use cases. And then you need to, if you're obsessed by your particular market, you can get out there and build better distribution, improve the economics of your product getting into the hands of those customers. And so this is just an example of right now. And there's this energy behind building vertical AI applications, AIs for doctors, AI therapists, AI for financial traders, whatever your obsession is, building the AI for that is an opportunity right now. In 5 years, I believe there will be other things that will emerge as new opportunities. So it's always about, being present to, like I said, the first point here is thinking about what's the most important thing for you and how do you build something that solves a problem right now from a timing point of view that is possible to do now, or you're willing to bet that will be possible to be done in the next couple of years, and you could be early. And if you're early, then you have a better chance of winning when the technology is available. So this is about, from a broad-based perspective, I think there's always opportunities for people to build businesses, and even in a post, sort of a post 2024 world, the future. I think I'm really optimistic that even if some of the jobs that we used to have don't exist, that there will still be opportunities to do things of purpose that can add value to others, and as a result, build great businesses.
Thank you so much, Alex. That's been amazing. Really, really nice to see you and to spend time with you.
Yeah, good to catch up, Harry. It's been a long time.
Been amazing, and and we just want to give you words of encouragement. We believe that the job that you're doing is amazing, yeah, and we need to bring more people into that movement, right? More entrepreneurs, and just last message, Alex. So, what is the message that you have for the entrepreneurs listening that they are scared? They are scared to go to do this jump, to start their own retail business, to give it a go.
Yeah.
They feel threatened about this big company. What message do you have for them?
Well, I mean, look, this isn't for any other reason, but beyond the core of your question. But do just get in touch. I mean, if you go to Save the High Street, the movement has a big context around town centres, but at the core of it, the thing that makes us special is that obsession around helping those small businesses from startups to scale ups, and in a lot of cases, turning from startup to scale up. So, we are here to help at each stage of that journey. And, if it is, a case where you need to do more work before you're ready to open up, we can help at that early pre-start stage. When you're ready to launch into space, not only these incubators I was talking to you about, Harry, but we're looking at other ways to give people kind of national access to the right units that could be available. And these empty department stores I mentioned before, we're looking to fill them with groups of entrepreneurs trading together in complementary spaces. We're looking to spin up new markets and support existing market operators. So at the launch stage, we're there to help. So I would say, really, like, it's not wrong to feel the fear, I suppose. That's not the wrong thing. But just don't forget, if this is a market that you're interested in, and you're looking to unlock your value using physical space in some way, you're not alone. And I'm sure this is the same in other verticals as well. There's other people
100%.
like we obsess around here who are obsessing about making your life easier in other spaces. But, if you're a retailer, restaurant, cafe, salon, bar, pub, anyone that wants to use physical space, galleries, all kinds of businesses, cinemas, as you said, we are here to help.
And on
SaveTheHighStreet.org.
And on that note, if you listen in this podcast and you have a great idea for a pub, you have a great idea for a hairdresser, you have a great idea for a restaurant, you have a great idea for a nail salon, you have a great idea for for a flower shop, for any business, any idea that could be in the high street that can improve the diversity in the high street, and just ask for help. Yes. I think that like you can see, Alex has huge organization. We definitely can help you. Also, we support whatever anything you need and guide you where to the organization of Alex. Yeah. So ask for help, because entrepreneurs, you're not alone. Yeah. And if you have an idea, you have a passion, you have a dream. Yeah. Reach out because there are organizations like the Alex one, that they have already infrastructure, they have already a lot of developed. They're working with, you're not alone. They're work. You think that you're alone. They
Yeah.
have what that idea about how can you start because you don't have a place and you don't have no one to help you. You have to learn a lot about business. Over there, they have a framework. They have coaches. They have mentors. They have infrastructure. They have the spaces. They have, so ask for help. Yeah. And gather community, be together with more entrepreneurs, with more small business owners that are in different space or in your own space. Talk to them, and this is the framework that Alex provides. So would be a very, very good starting point. Thank you so much, Alex. This conversation has been amazing.
Thank you,
Keep
Harry.
doing what you
Thank
do.
you.
We love it. We support you 100%. And for all of you, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable. How brave entrepreneur like Alex break that wall, achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.